So we're recording now. So welcome. I'm Jody, and this is Jody. I'm from Bloom Holistic, and Jody's from Jody Campbell Kinesiology. We know a couple of you who are here, and some that we don't know. So welcome. If we haven't met before, it's nice to meet you, even if it is on an online platform versus in person. I'll probably give us a little bit of housekeeping to start with. So, and I have a very loose run sheet. So just, I think what we decided to was that we're pretty free and just being guided by what feels right as well today. So I'm sure everyone will connect in with that and understand that. So I will give you an overview. So we're going to actually start with a blessing from a card that Jody drew earlier. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're feeling and how we can support ourselves and our families at the moment. We'll also tap into some guidance from some of the higher energies that we've had in our card readings today and leading into today. Jody's going to lead us through this beautiful moving meditation that's going to energize and strengthen the energy pathways and the central meridians of the body. So we're all invited to do that together at the end. We'll be, getting our movement on, which will be really nice. So, yeah. Cool. So I guess we'll begin with the blessing.
Yeah. Okay. So welcome everybody. I'm Jody Campbell. For those of you that don't know me, and this morning after arriving at Jody's, I drew this beautiful card, and it's from a deck by Lucy Cavendish, and I love the deck. It's called Blessed Be, and it's a blessing of protection, which is perfect, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read directly from the book. So this is a blessing to shield and safeguard you against harsh circumstances, people, and weather. May the blessing of an ancient sword be yours, held high and shining, subduing all who may through intent or simple destructive force do you harm. May a great shield be held above you, so that when arrows rain down on you, they may glance off, leaving you untouched, unharmed, but with the great, glad, fierce joy of life given again to you. May the protection of the land beneath you be yours, so your feet are firm on the good earth, and all good food rises and finds its way to your table again and again. May your home, your creatures, your children, and all who dwell within your walls be sheltered and encircled with a ring of bright flame by the goddess, and let nothing that could harm you pass. And if you leave your home, let the path you walk be starred with blessings, so that each touch of the earth upon your feet is gentle, safe, and certain. May the rowan tree grow strong above you, and beneath her branches may there be protection. And with those gentle leaves come the blessings of kindness, tolerance, acceptance, and the embrace of nature and your medicine within you. May the cloak of the goddess be about you, keeping you warm and safe, shielded and sheltered, hidden from those who would do you harm, and comforted and encouraged to keep going. For beneath her shield, with her sword held high, within that circle of blue flame, and with her blessing upon your path, you are protected and blessed. And from this you must know how precious and beloved you are to her. Blessed be.
So that was
lovely.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I just take a moment, everyone, and I just feel like a huge energy in my heart space at the moment. So I'd like you to just tap into where you're feeling anything in your body right now, and just hold your hands over that space and take some nice deep breaths in and out. Really feeling like the presence, of the goddess, of the divine mother, of Pachamama, of the Mother Earth, of God, of the universe, whatever whatever your faith is, just feel the presence of that around you at the moment and inside you, because we're all living beings and creatures and children of the earth. So in that, we are all connected. So I'm thinking about, how we're all feeling at the moment, and I'm sure that I speak for many of us that this is new territory and it's unfamiliar, and it, as we discussed earlier, it's as an adult, you're usually used to being able to kind of guide your families and guide your kin and hold yourself quite well as you move through challenges that life throw at us. But sometimes, like now, there's challenges that are bigger than what we've ever experienced before, but only because I guess they're getting a lot of weight too. Like, this is, in the end of the day, everything is going to be okay, and people will live and people will flourish through this. I think as long as we're able to make the right choices, and choices that are going to empower us as individuals. So some of the things that I wanted to talk about today, I actually drew a card for, and this is what came up. And I'm actually going to read the first part of this for you guys, and then it ties into what I was going to talk about anyway, so we're going to extend that out. So I asked for guidance, just guidance at the moment in general, and then the second card I'm going to read actually just appeared when I was accidentally reading the wrong page, so I was like, oh, that's really relevant. So we'll talk about it in a minute too. So the first card that I drew was actually Pachamama, which I thought was very appropriate. And this is her card here. And she with the Andean emerald heart. So, coming to this beautiful heart chakra, like everything we need to tap into right now is in here. And this is where we need to be guided from. So I'll read to you. Pachamama, the goddess of the earth, honored by the indigenous people of the Andes, holds space for many different creatures to live within her field, including the crazy, beautiful, dangerous, and divine humanity. She knows that life thrives through diversity. She is able to foster life with such genius and generosity because there is no fear preventing her from holding space for the new to emerge. Be open to the new and the different in yourself and your life. Trust, like the Earth Mother, as an act of devotion. She is watching over you as you evolve to manifest the fullness of your sacred and original life purpose. And what this translates to for us today is, don't hold back from what is happening. Things need to change, so let them change. It may seem chaotic or overwhelming now. However, when you realize that you don't need to figure it all out, you will relax, allowing the wisdom of what is happening at a deeper level to unfold. Trust that your inner resources are enough and will grow to meet your needs for soul expression in the world. The Divine Mother can help you if you trust her to keep an eye on things and guide the process for you. This oracle indicates that peace and harmony will eventually triumph over conflict and challenge, bringing about a new way of being. And I felt this was so relevant because of how we're all feeling right now, and what's happening at the moment. I've got my notes just like really loosely written here, but we, as a community, we need to sort of be there and support each other as best we can, which will then have national implications and global implications. And we are seeing this happening, and it's actually really beautiful to witness. We are also seeing the other side of that too. So this is where I guess I felt really called to share how we can really ensure that we're coming from a place of love and compassion within ourselves, to then be able to be a part of our community and feel connected and supported by others, and then offer that to them as well. So when we're thinking about what we can bring into our heart space and what we can focus on, I always think back to the Chinese proverb, if there is light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. If there is beauty in the person, there is harmony in the house. If there is harmony in the house, there is order in the nation. And if there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. It all comes back to light being in the soul, and strength in that space. So how do you find that at the moment? And I think that's probably what most people are finding challenging. And I guess it really is simple, because we just have to make the conscious choice to connect into that feeling. What's there? Feeling what's there. And sometimes feeling what's up here and bringing it down into here and grounding it into our heart space. When there's uncertainty, when there's fear, when there's any kind of emotion that's of a more lower vibration, Jodie's going to touch on this later. It really opens us up to and makes us quite vulnerable energetically. So finding these feelings that are present in our body and bringing them down and looking at how we can actually acknowledge them and accept that they're there, and then revise whether we want them there or not. And that revision comes down to the conscious choice in the moment. So, our conscious choice is really our free will to choose what we want to do with what's happening. So we can choose to buy into things, or we can choose to witness them objectively from afar and say, okay, this is happening around me, but what's happening inside me is can be bountiful and can be sourced from a place of love and compassion. Do you have anything you want to add on that before I keep going, or should I just keep going?
Thank you. But yeah, I'm really just
okay, yeah, cool.
loving listening to you.
Oh, really? God, so, I'm just like, there's so many things.
I know. So I'm just in your space.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Don Miguel Ruiz is an author of a book called The Four Agreements, and a couple of other books actually as well. But he talks about our heart space being our abundant kitchen. And so if you're thinking about a kitchen, if you've got children, or if you haven't got children but you cook and you prepare meals, this is where like we create and we make things with love and passion to nourish ourselves and our families. And this is the same as our heart space. What we make in this space and what we bring into here affects our whole self, and it affects everything around us as well. So when we can choose consciously to create from our abundant kitchen with love, then we've got an endless supply of love and strength to draw on from within us to then send outwards. Now, the card that, so I guess how do we get to that? That's probably what it's like. It's easy, I think, maybe when you're practicing this kind of thing all the time, you're meditating all the time, or you're filling your abundant kitchen all the time, it comes a lot easier. And that's just through practice that it comes easier. But if it's not something that's familiar and that you're not used to doing all the time, how can you do it? And I really think that personally, this comes from slowness and awareness. So slowing down, being aware to our feelings, choosing to go inwards and sit with them for a little bit, and then choosing to love and nurture and care for any feelings that are of that lower vibration. And then just honestly, it sounds simple, and it really is simple, to bring that love back into that place of fear, just like you would nurture a young child who's scared. You're doing that with your own emotions, and you're bringing that up, and you're really enlivening and creating the source of endless love and energy from just doing that process of acting from love. I hope that makes sense. In my mind, it's kind of hard to explain that, but yeah, I think we're all right with that. So when I was trying to read Jody the Pachamama card, I accidentally read this completely random, don't even know how it happened, like not even close to the card. So I don't know. Anyway, so then I was like, oh wow, that's really relevant. Hang on, that's the wrong card. So I think it jumped out at us for a reason. And I think this is the answer to the question that I was just asking, is that how do we fill our abundant kitchens up and feel calm amongst the chaos? And the card that jumped up was called Nana Baluku, and it literally says she rests to create. So beautiful. And I'll read to you out of the book again. This is out of the Earth Warriors Oracle. It's like my favorite that I own. Okay, so the wisdom from Nana Baluku. Your energy is a precious resource, and there are ways of being that can enhance it, amplifying it, and replenishing it. Give yourself sufficient rest, and you shall find the way forward more effortless. So just before I keep reading on that, give yourself sufficient rest. It's kind of like social isolation and social distancing. This is like, we don't even need to give it to ourselves.
No.
It's being given to us. Okay. Explore the lifestyle that grows your inner resources rather than requiring constant exertion and exhaustion to accomplish an endless list of external pursuits. You need this shift in being now because you are ready to accomplish more. And I think what they mean by that is that, you know, when we're coming from this place of centeredness and gratitude and love, we're able to do so much because our well is so full. Our abundant kitchen is so full. Our energy is limitless. For this to take place, there needs to be less effort and more wisdom. Trust and value what can be accomplished through rest. So, translating that into every day, you have more than enough energy to bring to life the sacred visions held in your heart. An increase of energy and peacefulness is indicated, which is really interesting. So it says here, an increase of energy and peacefulness. And I think when we think about energy, we think about, oh, it's like busy and it's buzzing and it's hustle, but it's not. It can be that. But energy can also be complete stillness. And this is here, it's saying like you are guided to choose high energy people, places, and purposes. And that can be within your heart space, in your visualization, in your mind's eye. But this does not necessarily mean that which is highly stimulating. Rather, it refers to that which regenerates you with peacefulness and joy. Give generously to yourself to be able to give generously to others. So filling this abundant kitchen, filling your heart space, and then having that strength to then give that to others. Work with what works best for you. You have unusual ways or ideas of being that suit you but may not suit others. So really stay true to what feels right for you, and don't force yourself to conform. This brings well-being and creative success.
Could I
Yeah,
might just say something that Jody, you, as you read that green, green. So, which is heart chakra, which is the central chakra, and it's very balanced. So just watching you, the green all around you as you spoke, tells me that very much this is about giving your heart time to talk to you.
Yep.
You know, going into your heart space, which is where you'll find all the answers and fill your own cup, you know, till it's overflowing, and everything flows out from that. So it's, as Jody said in the first card, dropping down from here into here, and the heart speaks with whispers, so we need to be quiet and still at times to hear it, because the noise of the outside world can get really loud, and we can take on those thoughts and ideas and influences that are around us, and sometimes we can't hear ourselves. So I just wanted to add that. I was watching that green, and I was thinking, oh, it's so beautiful to see it all around you.
No, that's perfect. And it's exactly what you're saying. You know, it's in whispers. It really is. And what I've noticed that I've been feeling drawn to do every morning as the sun is kind of coming up, depending on how early I get up, but is just to stretch and move my body in the morning light for no other purpose than to slow down and just to fill. You know, I think I wrote slow down, fill up in my story the other day because I needed to feel still to hear what was being said. And that's honestly, this is it really. You know, I actually have points on here about, you know, slowing down, filling up, connect with one another, listen and hear each other from that space. You know, not everyone in your household is always going to be as calm and still. So you just have to keep coming back into that moment where you're holding that space for yourself and them. Sorry, the garbage truck's going past. and I've got here like talk, you know, about how we nourish our bodies with food and with movement, but I actually don't feel like that's relevant right now, and we can talk about that another day. Yeah, I really feel like the core message that we're trying to get across today is to make that conscious choice to really own what's going on inside here and nourish it, because you're a child of the earth who also needs nourishing amidst, you know, what's happening. I think there was and focus on that which you treasure. I knew there was one other thing I really wanted to talk about. So focusing on what you treasure, so you know what feels right for you and what lights you up, what means something to you and your family. So don't feel like you have to be pressured to do all the shoulds. Just do what feels right for you. And I think that's probably all I wanted to say.
I think you said some wonderful things.
Thank you.
I sort of got so deep in it that when you asked me the rest, I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, sorry. And I could talk forever. We all know that. So I think, I'd love when Jody first came to my house, she's like, this is what I've thought about. And I was just like, I had the goosebumps everywhere. So I really want you to share that with these ladies now. So.
Great. Thank you, Jody.
That's okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me at your house this morning.
Oh my God, I touched it.
No, don't. We're outside, so we're practicing.
We're definitely not within the right distance apart from each other.
But, so this morning, when I thought about what I would like to share that might be helpful for others, I thought immediately of the thing that I do for myself really, really regularly. Because I've never done any videoing or Facebook Live or anything else. I was really nervous at the thought of it. So I thought, right, well, I just need to do something that I'm super, super familiar with, that calms me down, and then offer that out. So that's what I'm going to do. So first I'll explain it a little bit, and then I'll get up and do it for you, and hopefully you'll join me. So I want to talk to you just quickly about central meridian. So the central meridian is one of the main energy pathways in the body, and it governs your central nervous system. So it has a lot to do with how you're feeling and how much you pick up from around you too. So it's a simple way of talking about it was that, you know, we can zip ourselves up. And by doing that, we hold our energy to ourselves. You know, we're filling our own cup, and we're not allowing ourselves to be drained by the energies or fears or anxieties or the influences of the people around us. So tracing that meridian, just simply following the pathway in your body strengthens it, and therefore strengthens you. And it's a meridian line that's strongly affected by your thoughts and feelings. And I know, you know, if you're at all tuning into any of the media that's out there at the moment, then there's a lot of stuff being said, you know, and sifting through it and being discerning to, you know, to know the facts but allow the positives in. You know, you're having to sift through lots of stuff perhaps that you wish you didn't hear or see or bring into your home or your awareness. So the meridian that I'm talking about, central, runs from your pubic bone to the bottom, to your bottom lip. So that's the meridian that we're mainly focusing on today, but we're going to be doing a bit more than that. So I think what I'll do is I'll stand up and I'll move back. Jody will tell me when you can see me.
As long as you guys can hear. If you can't hear, just let us know, okay?
Sure. I'll put that
you might just have to talk loud.
Okay. Can you see me?
Can you guys see Jody? Yep. And can you hear her when she talks?
Can you hear me? Yep, cool. Thank you. Okay, so how I do this, I often do this for myself just anyway, but I definitely do it before clients and between clients when I'm worked up and I need some clarity and to really calm myself down to make a decision. So this is my go-to. So I always sort of plant my feet as in mountain pose, and so that I feel really grounded and connected. And I use my breath very much. So before I start, probably a good tip is, you know, you can rub or hold, and if you want, you can tap these 2 points here. They're called K27s. And that's sort of like waking your energy body up and making sure all of your energy meridians are running in the right direction. So it's a little bit like if you're at school and the teacher says hands on heads, eyes on me, it's telling you, okay, we're about to do something. So this is telling our energy field, okay, I'm about to do something, you know. So it's just getting everything a little bit switched on. So, and then I'll talk you through it as I do it, and I'll probably close my eyes and I'll breathe and talk at the same time. So
I'll check the sound. How's the sound?
Can you still hear
Can
me?
You hear okay? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the first thing I do is I start with my hands down here, which is basically the top of the pubic bone, which is the beginning of that central channel. And as I breathe in, I pull that energy up really slowly, really, really mindfully. And as I do that, and I'll do it again, I imagine that I'm pulling the earth energy up around me. So I see in my mind's eye myself pulling that earth grounding energy all the way up. And as I do that and I cross over all the chakras, all of the lower chakras up until the throat chakra, I know that I'm pulling that earth energy up, and at the same time I am activating and switching all those chakras on with my in-breath. So one more time as I breathe in really slowly and deeply, and I really am like scooping that earth energy and slowly pulling it up all the way around me. When I get to the top of my central meridian, my hands swivel and turn, and then I push that energy all the way up through all of my higher chakras, all the way up to the soul star chakra, and that's with the out breath. So I'll start that again. So on the slow in breath, I breathe in and I'm slowly pulling all that earth energy, grounding energy, all the way up over my entire energy field of my body. And I swivel here, and as I breathe out, I'm activating all the higher chakras. I then open my arms, and by that I'm opening myself to higher energy. So this is whatever your belief system says it is. So it's guardian angels, it's your highest guidance, it's your higher self, source, divine, higher energies of love and guidance. So I'm opening myself and my field of energy to outside support. And then I allow that support, and I just let my arms really, really just float down as I do this. And I see in my mind's eye like a veil of sparkly energy that just comes down and encompasses my whole energy field all the way down to below the earth, to my earth star chakra, so that I'm pulling all the earth energies up and strengthening my entire energy field. And as I get to here, I swivel, I breathe out, I'm opening all of the higher chakras. Then I open my entire auric field to supportive divine energies, and I allow them to sprinkle down through my energy field all the way down into the earth, so that my entire field is energized. Everything's gone blue. Got a blue house now. So that my entire field is really, really energized and protected. And I'm using my breath to do this. So at the same time as I'm doing this with my arms and legs, and I have that visualization in my mind's eye, where my breath is going to is actually here. It's into my hara point, or my lower dantian. So this is a reservoir of energy. It's the biggest, I'm not sure where to look to because I can't see where my eyes are looking, but it's the biggest reservoir of energy in the body, and that's what we need to constantly feel, so that when we feel anxious or stressed or triggered, and we're going out into energies and coming across people who are responding to life in a way that it perhaps isn't the highest vibrationary response they could have, we can draw on our own grounded, calm energies, and we can continue to emit that beautiful vibration out to others, and not get caught up in what's happening around us, but stay really connected to the source within us. So the breath, as I breathe in, I'm breathing into this hara point, or lower dantian. You could Google those two words and get heaps of information about them. And I really, really am using my breath. The breath is what's powering this whole thing. So I might just run through it with you now, perhaps 3 times, really slowly.
Do it all together?
Yeah, all together.
Do you guys want to do it all together with us?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
So this strengthens your entire energy field. And for me, I feel calm and centered afterwards. And what I'm doing is I'm asking all of the parts, all of the lines of energy that I can connect to. So from the really grounded, basic lower chakras right through to the soul star chakra, I'm putting lines of connection between them all, so that wherever it is that I need to respond from, whether it's a safety issue or a food issue, or whether it's a heart issue or an intuition, listening to my intuition, or tapping into that soul star, tapping into the part of me that has lived so many lives and has just a wealth of knowledge. Any one of those lines of connection, we're strengthening them all with this practice. Okay, so take my hands again, that they sort of scoop here at the top of my pelvic bone, and on the in breath, I'll count slowly. We breathe into the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We swivel our hands and we go 1, out breath, 2, 3. We open ourselves up to some guidance and support outside of ourselves. And this is like a beautiful white light for me. And then we allow that energy just to shimmer and wash down over our entire energy field. Just gently, gently, all the way into the earth, all the way underneath us to our earth star. And again, bringing the energies up. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. Open ourselves to divine support. And we allow that to gently wash down all over our entire auric field. One more time on the in-breath. 1, 2, 3. And the out-breath. 1, 2, 3. Open to guidance. And we allow that to gently wash down through our entire field. And for me, because I sometimes see energy as colour, the colours change.
Yeah.
It just really takes me deep into myself, and it really protects and supports me. So I hope that if you choose to practice that you get the same support from that practice. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. It's my go-to. I really hope you find it of use to you going forward.
I think thank you.
That's okay.
That was beautiful.
No, that's okay.
And I think it was what kept coming up for me when you were talking, especially about the hara point and the dantian.
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 Yeah.
I'm not familiar with.
No.
I know hara, but yeah,
they're Japanese. They're from Japan. So there's a lower, middle, and higher dantians, and they're energy storage reservoirs
Yeah,
that we can
cool.
fill with our, you know, actions, with movement or meditation or breathing. And then it's a reservoir for us to draw on. And times like these are exactly when we need to be constantly, it's a little bit like the kitchen, filling the kitchen.
That's what I was going to say, how it was
yeah.
actually really good, because I think, you know, as well, the heart chakra, the abundant kitchen, and what is this called in the hara points? Is it a hara
it's
point?
a hara point, yeah, so it sits down below the navel.
And then is there one up here?
Oh, well, so there's a lower dantian, so there's 3 dantians: lower, middle, higher.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so and the middle is kind of what I was talking about in a way.
Yeah.
But then I loved how when you talked about the lower dantian, because it really, like when I talk in chakras, so it's sort of the same thing in a way, but it's just a different wording.
Exactly.
You know, this sacral chakra and the base chakra, we're talking about safety, security, stability for the base chakras, and just feeling like our foundation is really strong. And then the sacral chakra is really, you know, creativity, sensuality, femininity, us embodying who we are as women and as mothers, especially as mothers, I think, if that's something that you've experienced. But how that complements the heart chakra and how that complements the higher dantian points, because one can't exist without the other. And so while I talk a lot about bringing down out of third eye into heart, really what you said about, you know, highlighting the energy and the reservoir in these lower, so you can't see my hand in the lower the lower chakras, it's really important, because it's actually balancing and providing stability for these higher chakras and these higher dantian points. So,
that's right.
Yeah,
it's
so that was really
for that
powerful.
everyday life, for that mundane everyday life. You know, this we have to have a reserve that we draw on for ourselves and for others. So that as you said, that practicing those, learning to be still, learning to be with yourself, be in your body, the more you do it, the easier it is. Because when you are in reaction or in fear or anxiety for whatever reason, or if someone in your family is, it's hard to get there. It's you have to, it takes more effort and more time, but it's exactly when you need to have a path to follow. So if you've built a pathway up already, then you can get on that path, and you know, I'm just going to stay here until I reach that calm place again. And then if you didn't have one, or if you didn't have one like Jody just did, then you can do that. That's right.
Which is beautiful. And I mean, I use a lot of visualization in my mind's eye. So I like I shared one on Instagram yesterday. You know, it was visualizing everything coming from here down into here, and really nourishing and healing those overactive thoughts and things like that. But combining that sort of practice with what Jody's doing, or any yoga, any movement, really using your time wisely at the moment is really nourishing for you. So
very much so.
So I guess, I think that's probably, I don't know about you. I feel good now.
Me too.
Really good. And how are you guys feeling? Okay? Yeah.
Any sign language there?
Sign language. I love it. There's a little kid there.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It really,
so lovely.
It's the first time, you know, we've ever really, we were just like, we need to do this.
We both were.
It's really important. Thank you.
Thank
you guys.
Thank you.
And hopefully, well, you know, we might make it a weekly thing. You never know. And we may do it from your place and my place and whatever, you know, whatever the world is coming to, we can all still be so connected. And that's probably one other little thing I want to add is that when you're doing these beautiful practices to really ground yourself and feel centered, you can visualize the connection between you and those around you that you love, and you and those around you that you don't know, and even the people you don't like. It's actually really quite good to do that too, because we all can actually choose to connect together through this. So
and I think that that we've always, Indigenous cultures have always understood that there are song lines and ley lines and lines of connection around the Earth's grid, and you know, they've used them as places of worship and all sorts of things forever and ever. Every culture in the world has acknowledged them. And I think the internet is actually showing us how we are connected just the same. It's as just the same as these traditional cultures understood, you know, with their song lines or their or the ley lines. So I think that we it's helped the last week I've seen the internet in a way more positive light, believe it or not. So because even though it's bringing to us some things that we need to be careful and discerning about what it is that we want to take on, that's the same in everyday life. That's the same with the people and the environments that we come across. But what it does give to us is that gift of connection, you know. So face to face and tuning in while staying in a, you know, in a really grounded, you know, sacred place that's our home, that's our sanctuary, and from that grounded space being able to connect. So I'm really so grateful that we have it. Really grateful.
Spot on. Alrighty,
lovely. Thanks,
thank you,
guys. Thanks for my first video thing ever.
You're amazing.
I feel like I'm a TV star because I can see myself on a screen.
It's so good,
so crazy.
Thank you. We'll catch you next time, hopefully. See you guys. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.